There is something that happens again and again to quiet people. People accuse you of things you never said. They assume intentions you never had. They react to you as if you were judging them, even when you're silent. And over time, you start to wonder, why do people keep misunderstanding me? Social psychology has a clear answer. It's not about you. It's about projection. 1. The human mind hates empty space. One of the most basic principles in social psychology is this: when information is missing, the brain fills the gap. Most people rely on constant feedback to feel safe: facial reactions, verbal reassurance, emotional mirroring. Quiet people don't provide these signals. You don't explain your thoughts out loud. You don't narrate your emotions. You don't constantly react. And that silence creates a vacuum. The brain doesn't tolerate uncertainty, so it invents meaning. 2. Projection is the mind talking to itself. Projection happens when someone attributes their fears, their doubts, their shame, their insecurity onto another person. Social psychology defines projection as externalizing internal conflict. When someone feels unsure about themselves, they look outward for confirmation. Quiet people become perfect screens. Because you're not defending, correcting, or reacting, others project freely. 3. Why quiet people trigger. Projection more than others. Quiet people are especially vulnerable to projection because you don't interrupt assumptions, you don't correct narratives immediately, you don't manage others' comfort. Your neutrality feels ambiguous, and ambiguity is uncomfortable. So instead of asking, people assume. Instead of checking, they conclude. 4. Silence is often misread. As judgment, one of the most common projections onto quiet people is this: they're judging me. But social psychology shows that this feeling often comes from self-judgment. When someone is unsure about what they said, how they behaved, how they appear. Your silence becomes a mirror. They see their own insecurity reflected back, not because you're judging, but because they already are. 5. Insecure. People need emotional feedback to regulate themselves. Many people rely on others to regulate their emotions. They look for nods, smiles, agreement, reassurance. Quiet people don't supply these constantly, so insecure individuals feel unanchored. Instead of recognizing their own discomfort, they project it onto you. You're cold. You're distant. You think you're better. These are not observations. They are emotional leaks. 6. Projection reveals more about them than you. Here's the key insight. When someone accuses you of something you haven't done, they're often revealing what they fear within themselves. Social psychology shows that projection is self-exposure disguised as accusation. Quiet people witness this often because you don't react defensively, you don't escalate emotionally, you don't redirect attention, so the projection remains visible. 7. Why projection feels so personal. Projection feels personal because it targets your identity. People don't say, "I feel insecure." They say, "You make me uncomfortable." The discomfort belongs to them, but the label is placed on you. Quiet people feel this deeply because you're already reflective. You wonder, did I do something wrong? Often, the answer is no. 8. Trying to fix projection makes it worse. Many quiet people respond by explaining themselves, softening their silence, performing reassurance. But this often backfires. Why? Because projection isn't logical, it's emotional. Social psychology shows that you cannot reason someone out of insecurity. The more you try to manage their discomfort, the more power you give it. 9. The quiet advantage. You see projection clearly. Here's the advantage no one tells you about. Because you're observant, you start noticing patterns. You see who projects when they project, what triggers them. You realize it's not random. Projection often comes from people who lack self-confidence, fear judgment, struggle with identity, need external validation. Your stillness exposes their inner noise. 10. How quiet? People protect themselves. Quiet people eventually learn something crucial. You are not responsible for regulating other people's emotions. You don't need to. Explain your silence, correct every assumption, shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Social psychology calls this emotional boundary clarity. When projection appears, you don't absorb it. You observe it. The reframe you need. If people project onto you, it doesn't mean you're confusing. It means you don't perform emotionally, you don't provide constant reassurance, you leave space for others to confront themselves. Projection is not your failure. It's their unfinished conversation with themselves. Final thought. Quiet minds don't disturb others. They reveal them. And not everyone is comfortable with what they see when there's nothing to hide behind. If this video helped you understand why people project their insecurities onto you, subscribe and stay with the channel. The next video will explore why silence often triggers emotional reactions, even when no harm is intended.